And we start here in Nigeria on the Punch newspapers. Let's see what we can quickly share with you on the Punch this morning. It says here, Atiku, PDP, Dare Wike, Makinde begin campaigns on Wednesday. Yes, of course, to Nigerians here and abroad, just to quickly remind you that campaign season is here, and it will be very interesting to see how it all turns out. It also says Lamido, Olafisho, Momodu and other heavyweights back party preach peace. PDP Governors Forum to meet Ayu. Atiku Okowa say Tambuwal Wabara. Moving away from that story, ASU appeals ruling says federal government has declared war. That's on page 14 of the Punch this morning. And also presidential candidates sign peace pact on Thursday on page 8. Hoodlums ransack and loot Ogun school. Pupils sent home. That's pages 4 and 5 of the Punch newspapers this morning. Akeredolu fumes as federal government denies Amotekun firearms license. And also 245 killed in Kaduna community attacks, says Monarch. That's on page 15. Military to bombard bandits, ask residents to relocate. That's very interesting. You can find more of that on the Punch. Just a few others. UNGA Buhari woos investors, says Nigeria requires 348 trillion naira. We're going to be having a conversation about that sometime on the show this morning. And also, Dogara Lawal can't intimidate Tinubu on Muslim ticket. Finally, Nigeria needs help to tackle debt burden, says the AFDB. Those are the big ones on the Punch newspapers this morning.
All right, let's move away from the Punch newspaper. Still staying in Nigeria. Let's go straight to the Daily Trust newspaper. On the front page there, you have the very big header there. It says, Buhari to investors, capital inflow our major challenge. Categorize our stolen crude as blood oil, Kyari says. Kind of like reminds me of Sierra Leone, blood diamonds and so on. So categorize it as blood oil, Kyari says. Nigeria needs help to tackle debt burden, according to Additional. Emefiele says interest rates will continue to rise. That's coming from the CBN governor himself. Interest rates will continue to rise. Kind of what the UK is indeed going through, where you have tax cuts, but this time in Nigeria, this part of Africa, it's about the interest rates that will continue to rise. Big problem, no doubt, looming. 2023 IGP puts police commanders on alert, bars Amotekun, ESN, others from election campaign. So take note, if you see any Amotekun rep engaging in election campaigns, then you might know that they are going against the law. The IGP has put it. Remember, he also had a meeting with some of the police chiefs yesterday in Abuja, and I'm sure this is one of the things in the communique that has actually come to the fore. Warns politicians against violence, hate speech, and Abdul Salami Committee invites Tinubu, Atiku, Obi, others for peace accord. Yes, they do that, and they've signed the peace treaty as well concerning the forthcoming elections. Let's take a look at some of the other stories you find inside of the Daily Trust. ASU, NITDA says IPIS, Utah's fail integrity tests as reps summon SGF, AGF and others. Governors, Board of Trustees in fresh move to resolve PDP crisis. You find that story inside of the Daily Trust, particularly page 25. Yes, and another one. Police kill 16-year-old Attison, injured 2 others in Jos. That's another story you might want to read, but you find that story inside of the Daily Trust, and I'm sure you can get every single thing that you can.
All right, let's move away from Nigeria and see what South Africa has for us on the Sowetan this morning. Cops accuser unreliable. Lawyer says businessman can't back up claims of his alleged robbery at the hands of a policeman, or policemen rather, who wanted 300,000 rand to make case go away. And also on the right, you can see an article, Thandeka back to her beloved Jabulani. That's on page 17 of the Sowetan this morning. ANC conference, Mama wants some top 6 action. We can find there, it says Mokoyane joins talent tainted but standing gallery on page 8. Dupree's itches for Bafana debut. That's obviously in sports this morning. And you can find, of course, a picture. It says there in the caption, fans came out in numbers to support multi-award winning musician Makazi during her album African Queen Reloaded at SABC in Auckland Park in Joburg yesterday. Those are the stories that you can find. Not very many of them on Sowetan this morning.
You can tell about the fans, though, supporting. It's a Friday fans, no doubt. Anyway, let's go straight to Daily Monitor this morning. Quite a sad story. Ebola cases rise to 7. Neighboring countries and the World Health Organization have joined calls by Uganda urging people to take care as health workers work round the clock to tame the highly contagious disease. Page 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You have all that story. Ebola cases rise to 7. Very, very important, by the way. It's something you should read about. How schools are prepared to protect their learners. Health workers reject calls to join response team. What a sad one at that. Ebola survivor narrates painful journey to recovery, and you want to know how that happened. So read up and find out some more. Let's take a look at other stories you find inside of the Daily Monitor. UBC to be switched off, satellite over 3.7 billion debt shillings. That's 3.7 billion shillings debt. I beg your pardon. UBC to be switched off, satellite over 3.7 billion shillings debt. That story is inside. And also in sports, cricket's Cranes win ACA T20 Cups. Good news. If you're looking for a job and you are a Ugandan or possibly an African who lives in Uganda, over 50 job opportunities at WFP, FHI, Send a Cow, ABT, UNOC, UTB, Annabelle, Mid-May, GSI, and so on. You find all that story. My last news coming from the front page of Daily Monitor, Uganda. Yege. The myths, ugly truth. The myths, ugly, and the truth. Okay, not the good, the bad, the ugly this time. The myths, ugly, and the truth. Read about it. Remember that festival? I'm sorry, I know. Would you have gone for that festival, by the way?
Oh yeah. It's one of the reasons. You remember? I think it was yesterday or the day before. We had a conversation here about Angola and I think Zambia working on better tourism relationship between both countries and all of that. So these are some of the things that will benefit. You know, if those things are put in place, there's better tourism, there's better travel. Relationship between African countries. Yes, we would like to go for the yege.
Okay, so are you trying to
we would definitely like to go for the yege, you know, and spend a couple of days, you know, over there and come back here to Lagos.
Okay, all right, that works. Anyway.